part 8 of I took my TV off the wall, canceled all the streaming services, got rid of all my bootlegged passwords, and how is that going? It's been amazing. This is going to be part 8, and part 8 is about man's inability to sit alone in a room as the root cause of all the problems in the world. And I love that thought. And before I go into the intro, real quick, if you think about it, lots of the wars and this and that are because dudes have a problem just relaxing. It's like, no, we need more, bigger, better. We need to win. We need to prove. We need to, win, take over, conquer. When, God forbid, maybe you'd just sit on the couch, light up a candle, and just breathe a little bit. Anyway, this is going to be a super fun rant. Listen in for part 8.
You know when someone is selling from stage and at the end the audience gets up and rushes to the back of the room to buy? That's a table rush. My name is Misha Z, and the Table Rush Talk Show is all about bringing you the tools, strategies, and tactics that you can use to grow your audience and inspire them to buy.
There are so many ways to go with this episode. I'm like, how metaphysical do I want to go, or how supposedly spiritual do I want to go with this thing? You could also say out there. Oh boy, man's inability to sit in a room alone is the root cause of all the world's problems. And here's a little rant for you. So if we want to say that, hey, God, there's a God created the world, or there's a higher power, or there's something out there that gives all this madness purpose, the universe, everything. If there's something greater than us, and there's more meaning to the universe than just man and how we feel, or me and how I feel in this moment, or that how things affect me, or how things affect you, or how you feel, or what somebody's supposed to be doing or not be doing. Like, if that's the most important thing in the universe, well then yeah, we've got problems. And you're always going to have problems, because there's always going to be something to cause you upheaval, or that will affect you, or affect your kids, or affect your grandkids, or affect your friends, or affect your country, or affect your state, or affect your town, or affect your neighborhood, or affect the planet. Yeah, always something going on. And there's earthquakes, there's famine, there's raping, pillaging, and plundering. There's wars, there's winners, there's losers, there's billionaires, there's poor people, there's starving people, there's fat people, there's people addicted to drugs, chemicals, pills. Oh my God, the pill factories out there. The whole U.S. pharmaceutical machine pumping crap out for people to take. Oh my God, so many pill heads. Pill for this, pill for that. Take this pill, take that pill. Speaking of that, if you could sit in a room alone with your thoughts, you probably wouldn't have to take as many pills if you were comfortable with your physical appearance. you probably wouldn't have to take so many pills. I could go on this rant. And I've had some depressed moments in my life, so I don't want to downplay the idea that people need to have a little chemical help to make it through a rough patch. I was just listening to a podcast from a sober buddy, and he's like, yeah, I've been sober a long time. And I went ahead and did a couple of guided psilocybin events, or what do you call them? Experiences or paths or journeys. There it is. A couple of psilocybin journeys in my sobriety to make it through some dark times where he wanted to kill himself. And I'm like, you want me to judge that? Like, I can't judge that. Now, me personally, man, that's like a gateway. I loved the psychedelics when I was a youth, and I abused them to the point of jails, institutions, and death. So that card has been taken off the table for me. I can't do it, literally. It's like, man, I got to learn how to meditate or something, because I can't do that. So, but God bless, right? Like, I'm not going to condone that behavior, but at the same point, I don't know, man. Like, blow your brains out, or do some microdosing of some plant-based medicine. Yeah, I don't know. It's helping PTSD people as well. Like, people that have legit PTSD, like, it's transforming their lives. So who am I to know, right? Live and let live. Anyhow, if human thinking and how man feels is the most important thing in the universe, then you'll probably always be discontent, because there's always something going on to upset man in the big picture or you in the short term. And where was I going with that little rant? I guess my point is, the bigger we can make our God, the bigger we can make our Creator, that universal power, the more that there aren't problems. It's literally how God created it. It's literally God's will in this moment as to what's happening. And so if you're frustrated with your neighbor, your friend, your government, Trump, Biden, this goes for me too. I need to hear this and say this. Then I'm really just resentful at God. I'm resentful at what created all this stuff. And I cannot see nor comprehend a bigger picture, nor am I willing to. How about that? It's like, if I was even willing to believe that, well, maybe there is a higher order that's so much bigger that I can see, and all is happening for good. And just how Misha feels in this exact moment is kind of irrelevant to the bigger picture. And that I should feel different. Oh my gosh, we are an entitled lot in America, aren't we? In Western culture. We should feel good all the time. Our thoughts should be clean and pure all the time. We should be happy, joyous, and free all the time. And I guess the question is, can we be happy, joyous, and free in our state of discontent? I love that idea. So yeah, let's talk about man's inability to sit alone in a room. And that is the cause of a lot of our problems. So I think about that a lot. I think about that a lot. I thought it was Kant, this philosopher Kant, who maybe had said that, K-A-N-T, but it wasn't Kant. And by the way, I should have said this at the beginning. ChatGPT, when you reformulate this into my newsletter, make sure you put into there that I've got statistics and I've got a study that validates what man will do. It's such a great study. what man will do instead of sitting in a room by himself. Basically, it comes down to this. I'll give you a little teaser. They put people in a room and they're like, all right, you get to sit alone with your thoughts. And if you ever don't want to be with your thoughts, you get to hit this button and it shocks you. And you know, and you know it shocks you. So basically, oh my gosh, all the stuff around it's so good. You do have that to enjoy. But anyway, so that little statistic is coming. And the setup of that whole thing, it's amazing. So yeah, as I hit my 40s and went through divorce and career failure and more failed relationships, that was in my early 40s, and parents dying and just life stuff, circle of life. Some people's arc of life is more intense than others, but people dying's coming. If you happen to live a long age, your body falls apart. Although we're trying to stop all that too. Your brain finally deteriorates. Although we're trying to stop that too. I'm 55 as I record this. I think I'm 55. I forget now. And then, the last, 42 to 55, 13 years, I really started to dive into meditation and being okay with my thoughts and crying a lot and burning through emotions and learning how to be okay with my thoughts, and legit for a number of years, I can't remember how many years, but I would meditate for an hour in the morning. I would sit, start the timer, and I would meditate for an hour. And oh my gosh, my thoughts do not control me nearly as much. Now I can get into upheaval as I'm on this entrepreneurial journey, and I can get frustrated and want to quit and all those sorts of things, and finding, ways to deal with those thoughts and emotions. So I've actually stepped up my meditations in the morning again. But I can. You can pretty much plop me anywhere, the DMV, wherever you want, and I'll be okay. There can be madness around me, and I'm like, it's okay. Life on life's terms. Live and let live. It's up to me to breathe through it, and the less I become attached to my existence on this planet and how I feel. This is crazy. Can't even believe I'm talking about this right now. The better off I am. And I just say that because inevitably somebody's like, well, what about the most extreme circumstance when you're, you're lined up against the wall to be shot because blah, 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 right? Or concentration camps or this or that. And I'm like, well, what's that one dude who wrote that book? I wish I could remember it. He talks about his experience in the concentration camps and how he had to come to terms with that and find joy in the misery. Gosh, I wish I could remember the name of that book, but gosh, I can't remember it. Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning. Thank you, Chrome. Thank you, the Google. Thank you, phone. As I'm walking and recording, and I can just look that up real quick. Yeah, so, inevitably people will bring the most extreme circumstance to disprove your thoughts and ideas. And reality is, I'm in America right now, in Encinitas, California, along the coast, literally the bubble within the bubble within the bubble. Now, there are even more bubbles within the bubbles within the bubbles, but I'm in a pretty good bubble within the bubble within the bubble. And when I say good, meaning I am indeed in a bubble. It's neither a good nor a bad bubble, but it is a bubble. So yeah, when I hit my 40s and life wasn't just a rocket ride up anymore, of success, of more money, of kids, and beautiful wife and, kids or, cute kids and success and all this, man. In my 40s, when the upheavals hit, I needed to learn how to sit alone in a room and process emotions. And I needed to learn how to let out a lifetime of pent out emotions. And so I have some experience with this. I'll also say that people, as I was going through that knew me before and then got to see me after, were like, oh my gosh, you've changed. Like, you are a different dude. I like it. Like, you are a different dude. Emanating peace. I was liked before. I don't want to, I don't know. I don't want to overplay how I was before, make it worse than it was. Trust me, I was a good guy trying to do good things, but I was an intense A-type sales guy. That's just the way it was, right? And so a lot of my way or the highway, pull yourself up from your bootstraps kind of stuff. But I was constantly trying to be of service, praying about that all the time, was of service and still am of service in the recovery community, constantly thinking, how could I serve? How could I serve the customer? So I still have that mindset. I've just softened. Life softened me. A little bit of an ass whipping by life softened me up and opened my mind even more and made me get closer to God. So anyway, as I've been heavy into meditation over the last 13 years, it's interesting. I kind of meditated before then, but life forced my hand. I constantly think about that, not constantly, but oftentimes about man's inability to sit alone in a room is the cause of a lot of problems. Like, people have a hard time dealing with their emotions and with their thoughts. And so they lash out at people. They react. They drink and do drugs. All these things, and it can lead to bigger and bigger problems and neuroses and all this sort of stuff, and it's just fun to think about. So I thought it was this dude Kant, and I did a little bit of research, and it turns out, hold on, who was it? I'm pulling up my notes. Okay, so I did a little bit of research, and it turns out in 1654, a scientist and philosopher, Blaise Pascal, wrote, "All of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room." And it turns out that there is indeed some science behind it. So I found this study from 2014. I found a study from 2014, and it was published in the Journal of Science, and it found, so a PhD student, Erin Westgate, said that, so this is what she did. She put together a study, and she got all these, all these people, all these, what are they called? Subjects. Yes, got all these subjects, and she said, all right, here's a buzzer. She said, she put him in a room and she said, all right, buzz this buzzer. And the buzzer was an electrical shock, and it shocked the crap out of you. So everybody got to shock themselves a couple times. And she said, would you pay to not be shocked by this buzzer? Like, would you literally pay not to be shocked? And everybody said, yes, we would absolutely be paid not to be shocked like this. So she said, okay, great, everybody. So here's what the study was. You get to sit alone in your room with your thoughts for 13 or 15 minutes, somewhere in there. I don't have the exact number. I'm scrolling through this thing, but it doesn't matter. And you get to be alone with your thoughts. Try to think happy thoughts, And if you want, whenever you want, you can click this buzzer and have the electrical shock that you would literally not pay to have done to you. And oh my gosh, what happens? 75% of the men shocked themselves. They would start shocking themselves while they were trying to sit alone for 15 minutes or whatever it was. It was 10 to 20 minutes. They needed to be able to sit for 10 to 20 minutes. And there were 2 rules. You can't fall asleep. You can't get out of the chair. You just get to be with your thoughts. And if you can't handle your thoughts, you get to hit the buzzer and shock yourself in such a painful way that you literally before would have paid not to have been shocked like that. And so 75% of the men shocked themselves. They couldn't sit in a chair alone with their thoughts for 10 to 20 minutes. How crazy is that? Interesting note, only 25% of the women shocked themselves. So, wow. People would literally shock themselves rather than having to be with their thoughts for 10 to 20 minutes. So I thought that was amazing and so profound, and the implications of that are rather astounding. And the study goes on and on about different studies and how they proved it in different ways and tried it on older people, younger people, all this different stuff, different controls. And the bottom line was people would rather shock themselves than sit alone with their thoughts. So very interesting that only 25% of the women choose to shock themselves, while 75% of the men chose to shock themselves. What's the implication there? Women are much better at being chill, being okay with their thoughts. Women cry a lot more, perhaps. Women let their emotions out more, perhaps. I don't know. I better not go down this rabbit hole, I know that. But it seems like a great place to end. I would encourage everybody to meditate more. And, oh my gosh, I am so grateful right now in this moment for the journey that I've had, that I'm willing to meditate. I'm willing to meditate for hours at a time. I'm willing to let those emotions out. And I don't have to take chemicals to fix that problem. I don't have to go on psilocybin journeys. I don't have to go on ketamine fixes. I don't have to take prescription pharmaceuticals for so many different things. Mental, physical. Oh my gosh. The amount of people, the supplements and the pills and all this stuff to physically be a perfect specimen. Oh my God. Trust me, I've had my time with, in my 20s and 30s. Well, it was my 20s when I was into the supplements and raw eggs. I could just keep going on and on and on. I should stop. Oh my gosh. You know, for good or bad, and God bless you if you can do the plant-based medicine or the pills to accelerate your connection with God and your ability to sit alone by yourself. Me, I gotta go the meditation route. I am either blessed or cursed, and what you get to do with a psilocybin journey that instantly gets you your connection to God and changes your life, I might have to go 10 years of sitting on a couch meditating a lot. Oh my gosh. Everybody have a good day out there. Thank you for listening. Oh my God. Love you. Okay.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Table Rush Talk Show. For resources to help you sell your stuff, go to belove.media/resources. That's belove.media/resources. And be sure to subscribe, comment, 5-star, and share. Thank you again for listening.